He teaches with another guy, an amazing, he's a social scientist as well, Maha Selassie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I know that. Okay.
Her name is Dr. Agiro. She's very, very smart and just really good class to take. So I was like, I'm sorry, I'm leaving your class. Like, I find it the most interesting.
And it's gonna jump, so I'm gonna do.
I'm graduating
Do this. Oh, are you graduating this year?
up in December.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm so excited.
Well, and you should be, man.
It's been a long time.
Oh, doesn't it? It takes forever.
Will we
Let's see here.
be able to pull the audio from this?
Oh, pretty much. I just usually leave this on here. I usually say don't smack anything on here.
Okay.
And then I will leave him where he is.
I'm saying from the board. Is that possible to get the audio or no?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, that piece is easy. I was just going to ask you. Oh, it did it twice. That's weird. Why did it do it twice?
Just want this song.
Apparently. Must be, wouldn't it be tough being Bob Dylan's kid?
Yeah.
Writing songs and you like take it to your dad and he's like, yeah, it's okay.
But Rolling in the Wind? Is that?
So let's see. Should I do this by your name?
Zack Sliver of Yuppie.
Or, yeah, I was just
Is
going to
that
say,
cool?
because I know it's Zach. Now it's Sliver, not Sliver, right?
Exactly.
I've been actually avoiding saying the name because I don't know which way to take it.
You're not the first or last. Half my life is like,
the
Mr.
one
Sliver?
question that the radio, DJ should have asked. So accept that, play, record, play again. Okay, so now that's making an audio recording. It gives it a cut number. Usually takes it about a week afterwards for the computer to process it.
Cool.
And then I just ask the engineer. Usually it's easy if I just get them. Just restart the computer because then I can more. It's at the top of the queue then instead of having to search for it.
Awesome.
But usually like a week or so.
Are we filming right now?
That one is on. These are not on yet. That one's not on yet. It's sort of like the joke that I have more equipment than I know what to do with.
Yeah. That's a good problem to have.
Okay, so the recording is going. Boom. So we'll come in after this song.
Should I mic my...
Not necessarily. I've had Todd Widener sitting right where you are. I've had Charles Hartman, Charlie Jackson, and it totally works. Now, I was going to ask, do you need to get a chair that doesn't have those arms? Or is that okay?
If I can get one.
Oh, yeah.
Fine.
In fact, let's do this. This.
Awesome.
I don't know about that. So we'll probably want to move this a bit. Now is a good time to check to make sure. Oh, that is so not tight. Okay, there we go. Now you don't have to wear headphones if you don't want to. There is a knob down here. Perfect there. Not so perfect there.
We'll figure it all out.
I'm going to use this.
Cool. I'm nervous.
Oh no, man, you're gonna be awesome.
I always get a little bit nervous.
Well, that just shows your thinking.
Yeah.
You think I would be smart enough to bring it? Oh, Peter Himmelman. This is old. From my old stomping grounds in Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're supposed to have those things in here and we don't. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, so we're now going live on Facebook. And here. Peter Himmelman, live from the Snap Sessions in Minneapolis, Minnesota, recorded many moons ago. Yeah, that's right, that's right. It actually, you can't get that CD anymore. When they did that, they only pressed 1,000 copies. I have 2 copies, you can't have them. You can ask for them all you like, but you can have them. Peter Himmelman, I think, is just an amazing musician who often gets overlooked. Especially considering for a while he was married to Bob Dylan's daughter. Right, so some interesting things there. Of course, before that, Ann McHugh with Stupid, also a couple of years old, from an alt country compilation. First of the Gang to Die, live Morrissey, live at Earl's Court, one of my favorite live records of all time. Why I Run by Extra Arms and If I Die by Fairfax. Thank you so much for tuning in. You're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative, and I'm happy. I'm excited. Can you feel it? I have a great guest here in the studio. We have live streams going on our Facebook pages, so take a look. Of course, poor Zack is surrounded by video cameras. He's not sure which way he should be looking.
Pointing at all
if you could watch the live stream right now, he's pointing at every single camera in turn. So, Zack is also the main musical, what should we say, man behind Yuppie?
I'm one of many.
One of many?
One of many. I released an album last October with a group of friends of mine, and then we're now formulating a different group with James Lampy of Avery Tooth Lincoln,
Yeah.
Bobby Chooksberry of Whiskey for Kids, and a couple other fine folks, and we're just writing a record that we want to have fun with and play out.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Zack, how long have you been making music?
I started really making music when I was in the Marine Corps. It was kind of an escape to try to find normalcy in an unnormal life. So I started breaking rules and staying out past my curfew and wearing a mic. No, not a mic. I'd wear wigs to try to fool people into thinking
Oh, really?
I wasn't a military member, because you couldn't be in bars after 12:30. So I've been making music solid for about 5-6 years now. Released a record in 2013 under a band called Angry, Young, and Poor. That was our demo that I in turn gave to Jeremy Nix of Encore Studios, and he ultimately signed me to his label, Invention City Records.
Oh, very cool. And so do you still record for that label?
For Invention City Records, yes. I'm not with Angry, Young, and Poor anymore. But yeah, Yuppie's been going strong for about 2 years.
So if somebody wants to get one of your earlier records or reach out to you, where do they go on social media?
So you could go to theyuppiemusic.com. That has links to all of our stuff. We're on Apple Music, iTunes, pretty much anywhere that you can buy music, we have it on there. We have Instagram. We don't have a Twitter. We're not tweeters.
You're not on the Tweety?
No, I'm just gonna let the president tweet. But Instagram, Facebook, we're on pretty much all those.
So if someone just looked up like Yuppie Band or Yuppie Music, they would inevitably find you.
They would.
So how would you describe the music that you make?
Folky songwriting with a little bit of rock and roll. Obviously today I'm just going to be playing solo acoustic. But we're trying to make honest music that, I don't know, is tangible to what we like. And I try to make music of what I want to hear. Sometimes that kind of polarizes everything. But yeah, it's honest music as much as I can say. Hopefully it's honest.
Well, that sounds like a great segue for me asking you if you'd be willing to play a song. You know, let's give people an example of honest music. I love the idea.
The song's called Summer.
that's just great. I really like that a lot.
Thank you so much.
So I'm just curious, who are your influences, Zach? Because I'm hearing a lot of things come through there.
I've always been a fan of Tom Petty. Tom Petty's songwriting has always been one of my favorites to grow up to and listen. Bruce Springsteen. I love Kings of Leon. Twin Peaks. Recently, I've been really getting into their music. Elton John. It just kind of depends on if it sounds real and it sounds tangible. It sounds like something not faked, because I think music is something that you can't fake. Either you're doing it and it's real, or it's just people. I think the listener knows when somebody's trying to be something they're not.
Yeah, there's an authenticity and a genuine quality to what you were doing there.
Thank you so much.
So do you feel when you write you're motivated by an emotion or like a thought to get across to someone who's listening to the music?
Not in the beginning. I think I'm writing out of just, I don't know. In the beginning, yeah, I'm trying to convey things. Like this song I'm going to be playing in a minute called Madhouse. It's just talking about being fed up about not making the money I want to make, not being able to do the things I want to do, and just like trying to get to a place where sometimes you never feel like you're going to get there.
Yeah. I can see that. I think many people can relate to a feeling like that.
Yeah.
To a thought like that. In case you're just joining us, this is your Tuesday afternoon alternative with Zack Sliver. Woo! Yeah. It was an issue about whether or not I was going to remember the correct pronunciation of the man's name. He's in a group called Yuppie. He's been in several other projects. It is really great to have you here, Zach. I really appreciate you taking the time to come in.
I'm super happy and honored that you would invite me out here.
The honor is all ours. I'm also curious, so when you write, do you work from the music first, or do you work from lyrics, or how do you put a song together?
Sometimes I just start from the guitar and work up, or sometimes I'll write something and have a melody in mind, and then I just make the music from that. But working with James Lampy and Bobby Tewksbury has been really interesting, because I'm notorious for taking two melodies that don't match and mashing them together. So it's been really cool to be able to work with somebody that's well versed in. They did the jazz studio in Dayton for about 10 years. So it's been really nice being with people that know what they're doing.
That's a plus.
Yeah. I've faked it for so many years that finally now I'm starting to go to school about it.
Well, and that's probably a good thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm just playing with you. I'm also curious, you say you started making music when you were in the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Did you make music in the past, or just, not on record, or just for yourself?
I wrote music, but I didn't feel like it was good music. I felt like I was in the beginning stages of just like trying to work everything out, like trying to formulate songs. So I played in like my church band when I was a kid, but I didn't think to the level of what I wanted to make music. I'm doing that now. And in the Marines, like taking a year while working full time in the Marines and going through workups and stuff for like operations. It's kind of hard to write and play in a band, so kind of prepped me for what I want to do, going tour and stuff like that.
I can imagine where, in a situation like that, the music can be a really great outlet for you.
Completely.
I mean, instead of keeping, the stress or the anxiety or the problems or the challenges in, you find a way to, in a healthy way, right, to release it.
Yeah, completely. I lost one of my best friends in Virginia.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
I mean, life happens. But it was a great outlet to be able to pour into, an outlet that was healthy and not diminishing of my character or my body. And even after I had brain surgery last fall, after I got jumped, it was a great outlet to continue pouring into something that would build me up instead of being downtrodden and boozing all the time.
Oh, sure. Finding a healthy way to deal with it.
Completely.
Yeah, absolutely. Can we get another song from you?
I'd love to play another song.
If you're just joining us, this is our good friend Zack of, well, his group that's evolved over time, Yuppie, and he was kind enough to come in and talk and play for us today.
I think you're the kind one for letting me come and play. The song is called Madhouse. Madhouse, if they can go in for the bills they keep on coming. I get older each day, well I guess that's what they say. It gets harder each day, I'm getting pulled in every way. And lately I don't even know who I am. When I get there, I won't care. Life's never meant to be fair. Love affair, my heart's scared, unaware of what you think. Oh, if I'm going to be tossed with the kitchen sink. Oh, if I'm going to be tossed with the kitchen sink. I'm tired living in my own head. I'm tired of 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 living in my own head. My own head.
Wow, that's powerful.
Thank you.
I have to ask, so is the song pretty much about what you think it's about? Like someone trying to get past themselves?
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you step in your own way enough,
Mhm.
and taking yourself out of the equation. It's kind of like looking at a problem through a microscope versus a telescope.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're so up in your own business that you don't realize that maybe if you take a step back that you can do whatever you want.
And I love how the song speeds up, right? You speed up the tempo as you go to convey that energy and emotion,
Mm-hmm.
right? Almost like that frustration where I can't get out of my own way.
Yeah, completely. Thank you.
if you're just joining us, I have a terrific guest here. Zack Sliver is here in the studio. He has recorded with the band Yuppie and a few other projects, but it sounds like Yuppie has a new record on the way. But tomorrow, the next day?
We're going to start recording it in December. And we have 2 music videos we're going to be shooting. And then we're releasing 8 to 10 live videos. And then we're going to release a song starting in like February, March time. We're going to release a song a week. And then we're hoping to play 10 to 15 festivals this summer. That's a stretch. We'll see who
It's a
accepts
goal.
us.
Sounds like a good goal to me.
It's a good goal. Sometimes you shoot for the moon and you hit Kansas.
Well, but as opposed to like not trying, right?
Yeah.
It seems to me like you should go for it.
I love playing Dayton, but I want to branch out. I think Dayton has some of the best talent. I feel like there'll be movies made about Dayton in like 20 years about how many people, I don't know, like Tino, who you had in your classroom.
Yeah.
He's one of the most genuine human beings, and just musically,
he's a gifted songwriter.
gifted. And he has different facets in which he shows it, with like Sidekick Complex and his solo stuff. I'm proud to be a Daytonian through and through.
Yeah, there's the scene, it's incredible, right? The amount of interesting music in any genre right now in Dayton, Ohio.
Completely.
I mean, forget for a city of its size, for any city, I just think there's some incredible music happening in Dayton. So those of you who are listening to our program, come, move to Dayton, live with us.
Well, it's like a couple of my friends are in a band called Speaking Sons, and they are, I feel like I'm fanboying out when I'm listening to them, but like, I just love their music, and I think that I'm excited to see what they do in the next 2-3 years, because they're going to blow up, and I know it, and it's going to be awesome to see that.
Well, I mean, you can point in any direction and point at an incredible band. If you're just joining us, Zack Sliver here is in studio. We're talking about his music and his interests. I probably should give him a chance to take a little bit of a break. This weekend, one of our favorite bands is playing out with the Big Smo over at Odd Bodies. This is the Typical Johnsons here on your Tuesday afternoon alternative. Woo. No, it's going great. Are you comfortable with how it sounds?
I'm just worried if I'm being too loud or...
Oh, I do some potting up and down if necessary. To me, it sounds pretty good. If you know you're going to really belt, like you're doing, you're already doing it.
Sure. Cool. Thank you so much for letting me come on.
Oh, I appreciate you doing it. It's really true. What a great music scene we have.
I love it.
I mean, I felt bad. There were some folks who were interested in coming in last week, and I like to work the election, right? I have this crazy idea of believing in democracy. And so I had to work the election and couldn't do the radio show, because you pretty much work from like 5:30 a.m. to like 8:30 p.m. And as much as I love the radio show, coming in at like 9 o'clock to do a show after I've worked since 5:30 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't want to do that.
But I'm curious, like, who are your influences? I mean, I hear like a wide...
What do you hear?
I mean, it sounds like there's some country and alt country in what you're doing. I mean, but I'm also hearing it almost sounds more punky to me.
Yeah. I grew up loving punk. I don't know, but I wouldn't consider myself like a punk person. I'd kind of, like, have you ever heard about how Tom Petty drew his influences of being like loving punk?
Yeah.
I don't know, just saying what you want to say and not let anybody tell you can't do it.
Right.
Right before I was about to leave Japan and be stationed back in the States, I got offered a job playing music at this bar, and they wanted me to play music and double bartend and stuff like that. And I was like, thank you, but I'm going to go back to the States and I'm going to get out of the service and I'm going to play music. And this guy was like, Zach, he's like, Zach, no one's going to give a shit about you.
Yeah. We're off the station.
And I was like, well, I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather be a small fish in a big pond than a big fish in a pond, a small pond. But I also would rather fail at doing my own music than playing Third Eye Blind covers
Yeah, right,
for the
right.
rest of my life.
It's hard for me whenever I hear Third Eye Blind now. I think of like Yes Man with Jim Carrey.
Wish you would have said that.
But I know exactly what you mean. I mean, you have to go for it, right?
Mhm.
I mean, people are like, oh, you'll never be anything. You don't know that.
Yeah.
You got to remember in the early days of the Heartbreakers, right? People
Yeah.
would come up to Tom Petty and say, "You sound like crap," or they used other words,
Yeah, yeah.
right? You sound terrible. You sound horrible. You don't sound like a rock star
No.
because his voice was different, right? But his voice was great, and he wrote amazing songs.
I know.
And I think over time he showed them a thing or two.
I'd like to think so. Man, I just don't want to be in my 80s thinking, what if I did this?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
I'd much rather fail miserably all the time than be so jaded that I don't try.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and going for it is not the problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even if you're not like the biggest star on the planet, right, or you're not selling out stadiums and
That's
so
not
on,
happening.
right? If you're making music that matters to you and that
Yeah.
touches other people, isn't that truly making it?
Completely. It's like, I was talking on Sound Valley the other night that, you ever heard the band Y?
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
Yanni Wolf, I mean, they're a Cincinnati band, and they have this
They've got some cool music.
amazing music, and they have an intense cult following because they're honest. Their music is what I would strive. If I could
Yeah.
be in any band, I would love to play with them someday.
Yeah.
At least
yeah.
write a song with them because I think that they're just witty and experimental, but honest. And I don't want to make music with people that are trying to make it. I feel like it bleeds through in the wrong way.
Oh, sure. Well, I mean, and you're going to be like just chasing hits, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to try to write whatever that next hit is.
Yeah, chaser.
There you go. We got a song. So we'll go on air here in a little under 2 minutes.
Cool.
Well, I mean, and I don't mean to speak out of turn. I mean, I understand people who are going to go for that, and if they make it, God bless them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for me, music that's authentic, that's real, that people connect with,
Mhm.
matters to me so much more than how many
Yes.
units, as they say in the industry, how many units you sold.
Like that song you played earlier, the one that only pressed 1,000 copies.
Oh, yeah, Peter Himmelman's. Yeah.
That song was amazing.
Oh, seriously? Well, there's only like 6 songs on that record, but every one is like amazing. Now, with their live interpretations of his other work, I love the live versions much more
Yeah.
than I love like what was on an album. And of course, now you can't even get some of his earlier albums.
Have you ever listened to Drawn and Recorded on Spotify?
Oh, yeah.
So like the one that they were talking about, Blind Willie Johnson.
I don't think I heard that one.
So Blind Willie Johnson, his house caught on fire, and it ended up raining, and he caught pneumonia.
Oh gosh.
So he went to the hospital, couldn't get care because he was black and in the South.
Right, yeah.
So we
'cause
went
of the
back.
racism.
Went back and had to sleep in this house. And the last thing he remembers before his stepmom had threw lye in his face was the night sky. So that's when he wrote, dying in his bed, he wrote, dark as night, cold as the ground.
Oh.
And he never saw any fame, but it's the second last track right before Beethoven's, I can't remember which symphony, but it's on the gold record that
Yeah.
they sent up to space.
Oh, right.
So like, how crazy would it be?
It's on one of those Voyagers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That to me is just wonderful.
Well, it's kind of funny.
You don't know the impact.
I remember when Elvis Costello had released his King of America record,
Mhm.
which has got to be like the 80s, right? Is that like 84, 85, something like that? And Costello had clearly done pretty well, right? Going back, to the late 70s.
Mhm.
And there was some show, he's like in a hotel room, and I don't know if it's before or after a show, I forget the story, but he turns on the TV and there's Johnny Cash doing one of his songs, Cold, Cold Ground, which he wrote about like his parents and stuff that was really important and meaningful to him, and his dad's struggle as a jazz musician in England.
Yeah.
And he's like, the song never made me weep, even though it's deeply personal, until I heard Johnny Cash sing it.
Yeah.
And he brought out the intensity and the meaningfulness of the lyrics and the power of the song in a way that I never could. And so I just thought that's fascinating, that even for an artist who I think is pretty darn good,
Amazing.
like Elvis Costello, who's still releasing interesting music, that it took Johnny Cash for him to see the power of his own music.
I'm trying to remember the name. The frontman of... My friends are going to freak out on me. Okay, Trent Reznor.
Oh yeah, when Cash did Hurt?
Yeah.
Oh, Reznor admitted that Hurt was far superior to what he did.
Oh, but even in the beginning, when he heard the track, he was like, I don't understand what Johnny Cash was doing up until the video got released.
Oh, okay.
And then he said it was like one of the most moving...
Oh, yeah. It's heartbreaking.
It's hollow and just like one of the most... That video made me cry the first time I saw it.
Oh, I know what you mean. I totally know what you mean. I'll admit it publicly that music has brought me to tears. Yeah. I'm a crier, people.
Yeah,
I'm a crier.
Don't judge me.
Is that our next song? After Hitmaker? I think you and I are writing songs.
Yeah,
we're so you
We're
might
gonna
be
take
Iron
over
Man.
the world. We got this. What's up, Interscope Records?
But then, I mean, it's kind of interesting, because I guess the record company was Reznor. I'll go on in a minute.
Yeah.
Was Reznor still on TVT when Cash was trying to do that? Because I read somewhere where like TVT Records was not okay with it, and granted, TVT Records was like a hot mess.
Yeah.
And I've had several friends who've actually been on that label and just said we walked away from royalties if that's what it took.
Man. That's like some metal labels nowadays.
Well, I mean, you
I'm
and I are talking about
this.
You and I are talking about stuff that's not exploited, right? You're making music that matters, it's real, it's authentic.
Well,
but the label doesn't care about that.
Jeremy Mix of Invention City Records cares. He gave me all my masters.
Oh, really?
And told
Here
me
we go.
He's solid.
And so here we have the New Old Fashioned with an amazing song from their most recent record, Small Town Midwest USA, which I have to say is a fantastic record. And before that, Atomic Cafe from Big Time Pharaohs. And then before that, the Typical Johnsons with the In the Other Words version of Lost and Found, which just rocks. I adore that tune. And they're great songwriters. Off air, Zach and I were talking about songwriting. I was sharing a story about Elvis Costello being moved to tears seeing Johnny Cash perform his Cold Cold Ground song from his King of America record. And Zach brought up
Trent Reznor.
Hurt.
Hurt when Johnny Cash did it. And just talking about how moved Trent Reznor was when he figured out. Because you can play somebody else's tunes and they don't get it at first. And then once you, I don't know, everybody puts their own spin on something and it comes moving.
Or at least it turns into something different.
Completely.
If you're just joining us, this is Zack Sliver of the band Yuppie. And we are here talking about his music, talking about, well, quite frankly, anything Zach wants to talk about.
Whatever you want to talk about.
You know, I think later we're going to get into some issues with literature and author or reader intent, and I'm kidding, of course.
We could totally do that. Aliens, Skyline Chili, whatever.
You had made Aliens. But one of my favorite science fiction / horror movies, Aliens. Okay. I'm back, people. Don't worry. We're not going to go down that path. Instead, I think I'm going to ask Zach for another tune.
Yeah. All right. The song is called Scoundrel. my way all over this town. Sorry for everything I've done. Took your heart on the run. Sorry for everything I've done. Took your heart on the run. Sorry for everything I've done. Took your heart on the run, on the run, on the run.
Yeah, that is really cool. I love that song. You know, how many people think of themselves as scoundrels, right?
I did for a while. Sometimes you gotta write a song apologizing.
You gotta admit your own mistakes,
You
right?
gotta.
Yeah, you would hope so. Zack Sliver here in the WUDR studio as we celebrate your Tuesday afternoon alternative is now old enough to get a learner's permit.
Woo!
So YTAA comes to you here from WUDR every Tuesday from 3 to 6 p.m. And we are just so fortunate to have an incredible group of terrific musicians here in the city of Dayton who are willing to come in and talk music with us and perform with us. I'm just curious, how many songs have you written over the years?
17, maybe 18.
So how do you write? How do you do that? Is it like, do you approach it like a job, or do you just have like melodies or lyrics just come to you?
Some days it feels like a job, and I feel like if you're a musician, you have to treat it like a job at some points. Sometimes you're tired, and you just have to do it. You have to pick up your guitar, you have to pick up your instrument, and continuously chip away, because that tree's not going to come down if you don't take a little bit out of it. I'm not a lumberjack.
But it's a good working metaphor.
Yeah, some days I don't want to write at all or play, but practice makes perfect, and I just continuously try every day to pick it up and try a little bit.
How do you know when you've got an idea that works for you?
When the rest of the band says it's not crappy. No, I don't know. The feeling is there. Sometimes if I'm playing it and I just know, like, well, time to scrap this idea, or other ideas. I don't know. I usually will record on my phone for a while of a jam, and then I'll take 10 seconds or 12 seconds out of that and be like, okay, that'd work with this, and just kind of almost treat it like a old football coach watching films. Like whenever we practice, we record it, and then we listen to it and actually find out if it sounds good or if it's just us liking our music. And so we try to really go at this from a business standpoint.
So it almost sounds like you're assembling it, like you're playing around with it until it feels right and works right, put some things together. How often do you say, okay, this idea isn't working, or you think that it's working, but the band tells you, well, can we do it this way?
The cool thing about working with James Lampy and Bobby Tewksbury is we throw things against the wall all the time, and if it sticks and we all like it, we keep it. But none of us are married to an idea, which is nice, because you work with some musicians and they're like, this is my song, it's my guitar, don't mess with my solos. And you're like, this is ridiculous. If I like being in a group that's willing, like that song I just played is completely different playing it all together. But being able to not be married to an idea and allow collaboration in is the best thing for a band, in my opinion.
Do you feel like that increases your vulnerability when you reveal something like that about yourself? Like, I'm thinking the first time you played Scoundrel, had to be hard.
It was really hard. And it wasn't the same. I mean, each time I play it, it becomes something different. But yeah, the first time I played that and wrote that, it was like, wow, okay, I'm gonna do this. And it was something I needed to write to almost change who I've been. Coming from having to deal with post-traumatic stress from the Marine Corps, and kind of the actions and implications of my actions for years were not who I want to be or be known as.
I can understand that.
Yeah,
I mean, so you get to define who you are, so why can't you change it?
completely. But I mean, I felt like I had to take a drastic measure to kind of assassinate the old me and create me.
Oh, I like that. I like the metaphor of that. I don't like the violence implicit in it.
No.
I'm kidding.
I'm still alive.
Which is good. This is not pre-recorded. Zack is
Sliver's
here.
a clone.
Oh no! Wait. So if your clone is here, then does that mean then that your clone or another clone killed the real you? Okay.
No, he really works for me. He brings home the bread. Hey.
You're listening to your Tuesday afternoon alternative with Zack Sliver here of the band Yuppie. We are so excited to have him here in the studio. If you're curious about his music, you can go look at much of the social media, not the Twitter. Not the Twitter, but pretty much everything else.
Yeah, theyuppiemusic.com or The Yuppie Music on Instagram and Facebook.
When do you think you guys might have the new record out? Kind of like by summer, I think you said earlier?
We're going to release a song a week, probably starting in March. It's tentative because we want to get things right. But we're recording at Encore Studios, and we're signed to Invention City Records. Also look those up on Facebook and give those a like. They're opening a live room to have shows there.
Oh, that's great.
So they're going to be starting to bring in national acts. Next summer, they're talking about turning the front of that building into a stage.
Oh, wow.
And then bringing in national acts and having Dayton bands open for these like regional peoples.
Oh, that'd be great. I think that'd be a real benefit to the city.
I think so too. Very much like Brightside had just opened. There's a lot of great places that are opening in the city, and it's about time. I'm glad that Dayton's finding this reinsurgence.
I think it's great that there are multiple places to play, and there's a lot of support among the musicians, but also among the venues.
Yeah.
And I think that creates a healthy, vibrant music scene.
Completely. That's the one thing I love, even about like arcade bars in Dayton. Like Rob Strong owns the Canal Street Deli, and I can't remember the name of it offhand. The one on 3rd Street, I'm losing my mind. But they have competitions with each other where they like have games. Well, games. They have games. No, they have contests, so where it brings both people into their places and the other business. Like there shouldn't be any competition between businesses in Dayton. We're all trying to build up the city and make it a better, more vibrant place to live and hang out.
Oh, very good. Do you have one more song?
Sure.
Okay, well in that case, can I ask for like 5 more?
I can play as many as you want. I'm going to give it up to you. Would you like to hear a song called Uncomfortable or Semi-Auto Blues?
I think I got to go with the second one.
All right.
Although I may later ask for the first one because I'm evil that way.
I can play as many as you want. The song is about police taking liberties. Paycheck never pays the bills, never made a living well. Where will I go when I die? singing I don't know. 'Cause the boys in blue shot somebody new, but the boys in blue shot somebody new, but the boys in blue shot somebody I knew.
Nice. Wow.
Thank you.
That's really great. The ending is chilling. So were you trying to like just kind of drop it at somebody's feet right there, like, okay, now deal with this?
I'm just, it's kind of hard to pinpoint it, but it's mostly about the fact that how hard does somebody have to yell before somebody listens to somebody? How many people pretty much have to lose their lives to enact change? How many people have to take a knee for anybody to pay attention? How many people have to just yell? And I don't know. I don't know if that song will ever make a difference, but I felt like I couldn't just keep turning on the news and watching what was going on without writing about it.
Do you find that what's happening in the world, what's being talked about on the news, does that directly affect you in your songwriting?
Mm-hmm. My degree is in political science, so I don't think I can escape it. Politics and the way the country's going is very important to me.
Mm-hmm.
Not only, I mean, I swore an oath to the country to uphold the Constitution, and I don't think that oath ever left. I feel like I still owe a debt to this country to ensure that it upholds a sense of dignity and respect towards people. And I'm not very shocked very often, but in recent times it's kind of hard to turn a blind eye or keep quiet. And the thing is, I don't care who you vote for. I'm glad that you get out and vote. It showed this midterm was the highest midterm that we've had in 3 years?
Something like that. It was incredible.
Yeah. So I'm glad people vote. I just am hoping that in the next 10 years that the polarization between not just politicians but people kind of dies down. Because sometimes you gotta let somebody that doesn't agree with you into your bubble and hang out with them.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a Donald Trump protest before he got elected. This man was screaming in my face, and I put my hand out to him. I was like, "Hi, I'm Zack." And then he stopped yelling at me, and we talked.
Yeah.
Because I feel like people want to be heard, but at the same fact, people need to listen. And it's hard to listen to somebody that one doesn't like you, doesn't believe in